There's an absolute art and science to truck and tractor pulling, and we're about to bring all of that to you here on ESPN2. It's the Hot Rod Semis, and they're next. Welcome, everyone, to the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League. We're at the Jim Beam America's Fair here in Hamburg, New York, one of the biggest pulls in the country. Ken Stout with you. Leslie Mears will join me here in the booth. Ted Brunson down on the grounds. And Leslie, this is always a huge pull.
The Hot Rod Semi is going to kick off the America's Fair. Over 20,000 people in attendance for the event tonight. And we have a whole stable full of iron back there and lots of good black smoke rolling out of these Hot Rod Semis. Going to put on an awesome show for you tonight.
Now with more on tonight's event and the class we'll be seeing here today, let's kick it down to the third member of our team, Ted Brunson. Ted?
Well, the man standing next to me has made a great transformation from the State of Ohio Championship to the National Tour. Undefeated, 7 straight races, perfect 350 points. Mike Larrabee, you would think that it'd be easy for you, but as each poll goes on, it gets tougher and tougher because everybody's gunning for you.
Yeah, it sure is, and everybody's trying new things. They're getting the hang of this new drawbar. We kind of had a little bit of an advantage beginning of the year. Everybody's actually working on their stuff over here, trying to catch up, and they're getting closer.
You're one of the fan favorites with this 1970 Chevy body, 2,100 horse, 4,500 pounds of torque. This thing is a monster, man, and the crowd absolutely loves it, and I know you love just performing for them, too.
Oh, yeah, we do, and this Chevy is it's running so good this year. Very few problems. Our crew and us, we've been kind of breezing through it almost, just kind of coming natural this year.
What's been the big difference from coming from the Ohio State Tour, basically, to now the national scene? How has it affected you on a personal level, all the travel and everything else?
It's actually kind of enjoyable. We're leaving earlier in the morning, so you don't have to work half a day. You take off the whole day and come out here to play. Some new people. We're meeting a lot of new people. Different places, pretty scenery over here in the east. Just, I don't know, we're enjoying it.
He's basically got the championship locked up, 7 in a row, going for number 8 here in Hamburg, New York. Mike Larrabee, though, always feeling the pressure. Everybody's gunning for this guy.
Before we get going, I do have to make a comment. I couldn't tell where the truck stopped and Ted started. I think the shirt matched perfectly. Good job, Ted. Mark Riggle, Something for Nothing is going to be the first truck out here. And, you know, they spoke about that hitch height. Mr. Larrabee did. And you mentioned it earlier a couple shows ago. It did change everything this year.
Lower hitch point means that they're going to have to work on where they put the weight on the vehicle. Over 20,000 pounds, so they're going to have to concentrate more weight on the rear. See the silver box on the screen? I bet that is full of weights back there, along with some other components to help get them down the track. But weight back there going to be very key to dig those DOT tires into this clay track.
And the mark is 303.30 for Mr. Riggle, Mark Riggle, that is. And that's a great pull. Excellent job.
He does a good job. You see all the black smoke rolling, coming off the line. A little bit of torque there. Biggest thing, we want to come off the line hard and make sure that we get a nice differential between how we're slipping out the clutch and the RPMs that we have built up, because we don't want to spin those tires really hard off the line, because if we do that, we're not going to go anywhere and get any traction. Want to be hooked up at 100 feet. Very important.
303 with the 30 mark, not too bad, especially as early as you went.
I think it's going to be good, because the track, I think, is going to get drier as the time goes on, and it's going to be less traction.
This is a great showing for you so far. You just came out of nowhere. I mean, you were doing pretty well, but you're setting the bar right now, and now guys are chasing you. It's got to feel pretty good right now, right? Because
right now
we know one guy, Larrabee, who everybody's been chasing, so that you could set that bar.
Right. I know. I hope it stays, but I know it won't. We'll just wait and see.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right, next up will be Guy Flock in the Scavenger. The one thing I didn't see out of Mark Riggle's truck is it didn't look like it transferred a lot of weight out of the front end, but maybe everything was just perfect. We'll find out as some of the other trucks come out here, and I do like his remark about the track being perfect right now, maybe going away later.
Something we've also got to take into consideration, they are the first class of the night, and so what's going to happen, the sun's going to go down, and we could see the track conditions change.
A gear change right there. It sounded like once he got the clutch out, it pulled it all the way down. At the last minute, decided to make a gear change. 254.60, not even remotely close to the end there, so he just quite possibly chose a wrong gear at the very start.
Well, I don't think Guy Fawkes ever got that injector problem figured out that we saw at Salem, Indiana on that track down there. That's going to be huge. You've got to get a good mix of fuel, air, and water going into the engine, and the biggest part of that is going to be the fuel. Lots of fuel to create lots of horsepower to get him moving down the track, and we see he just kind of bogged down right there. It's slowing down little by little, and just not enough horsepower to drag him through on that gear.
You've mentioned the smoke so many times. It was just kind of rolling out of the pipe at the start, really thick black. At the very end, you could see it actually had some pressure, so that is a key. Certainly something we can watch as we continue on here. Next up, driving one of the Bulldogs here. You got to love the guys out here in the Max. They always are looking to represent. Dale Francis and the Killer going for a ride right here.
I tell you what, he was headed for the end, and those people at the end of the track, man, they really got to look out. He was on a roll. He was moving it out hard. Look at all that black smoke moving. We talk about it all the time. The faster it moves out of there, the more air you're moving, the more horsepower you've got. Lots of torque. You can see the front end weaning up off the ground there, just flexing. All the torque moving to the back end. Those DOT tires really, really digging in. He did stay in bounds, so that's a good thing. This will count.
Dale, 321.98, but that's not the best part. You had that thing sideways. This crowd was going nuts, and they're a little scared.
Yeah. Well, his run's good, you know.
The run was good, man, but did you for a second think that you were going to maybe topple that sled?
I don't know. When looking back, I was going. It's fun to put on a good show.
You seem like you're a little jittery after that one. Have you going a little bit?
I was just worried about going out of bounds. I didn't want to get DQ'd.
Well, you're not DQ'd. You're the leader right now.
That's good.
A man of few words, and also the key behind the horsepower with those superliners. So we'll find out if, in fact, he can hang there. J.R. Flock will be up next with a Wildfire. Great opportunity to listen in to see how he uses that clutch. And again, we heard a gear change. Sounded like he took off, got the clutch out, and pulled the RPMs down. Then it actually had the power to pull him back up while that transfer box was on the back part of the sled, and then he pulled a gear. So a mistake there, Leslie?
No, it's all really by design. This is an automatic transmission, and so what he's going to do, he's going to go down the track, and he's going to feel it out. As he's accelerating down the track, he's going to feel it out, see what he can come up with. As he feels the sled really start to come on, he's going to downshift to try to pick up more torque. And as we all know, it's torque that pulls that sled down the track.
You can hear that V12 singing as well. Always has a unique sound to it. So trying to get the best out of one of those V12 Detroits. Stick with us. We'll be back with more from the Jim Beam America's Fair. Welcome back to the Jim Beam America's Fair here with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League. You're watching the Hot Rod Semi category, and this has been the man all year long, Mike Larrabee in the Shameless.
You really want to pay close attention as he comes off the line, because he is not going to hold anything back. He actually has a manual transmission, which gives him a slight advantage, but he's been watching these other competitors go, and he's going to figure out exactly what he needs to win.
Oh, and you always talk about watching the smoke, and man, the PSI out of that exhaust pipe right there is serious. He was definitely up on the wheel. An excellent job, a full pull for Mike Larrabee.
You see, he gets up off the line early. Lots of torque, of course, what we need to pull the sled down the track. Hooked up at about 100 feet. That's exactly where you want to be on this hard clay surface. It's really similar to the tracks that they're used to running on, that Ohio Valley clay. Run there all the time. Watch that smoke tube. See that narrow stream of black smoke, just really steady, good mixture of air and lots of fuel to really make it happen out there. Look at him, he's headed for the straw.
It's at least 3 right now in the pull-off. Can you go 349, dude?
Yeah, we can. We're going to give it our best. We'll see if that's good enough. A lot of good trucks left, and we're going to give it our best in the pull-off. Hopefully the old Chevy can do it. Need to thank all our sponsors, Lucas Oil, R&L Carriers, Torco, Dixie Chopper, Summit, K&N.
You've been winning enough where you know all the sponsors anyway, right?
I still missed a couple. Sorry for the ones I missed, but thank you.
He's turned into a TV star. He's had a lot of TV time this year, and rightfully so. He's done an excellent job. He's turned into quite a character. Tom Lindsay coming back here. This is Black Thunder, and Tom Lindsay, one of those guys that's a true veteran inside of the class. You can never count him out.
an engine builder himself. He knows how these things work, and he knows how to put that power to the ground with those DOT tires back there.
Boy, he squeezed it across, but I mean just barely. He's going to have to make some changes if he's going to hang with Larrabee in that pull-off.
I think what we're going to see, we're seeing the track get better, and nobody's really prepared for it out here. You can see the hard clay surface out there, really, really shiny in front of those front tires on the front end of that vehicle. He comes off the line, and it looks like he's a little bit slow, just not getting the wheel speed up that he needs to really extend that run out there and overpower that sled and show it who's boss back there.
Nice conventional Kenworth, great looking ride there. And once again, he does make it into the pull-off. We'll continue on. Speaking of great looking rides, here comes J.R. Collins with the Buckeye Bulldog. This one has no shortage of pinstriping on it. Oh, how about some flame action?
He always puts on a great show off the line and does it on the track as well. Another one of those V8 Max Superliners, taking advantage of some of that new technology developed by Dale Francis. Let's see what he's got here.
Man, some big mile per hour. He had to shut it down early. I guarantee you, our cameraman standing up there was beginning to wonder if he was going to lose his position because he was nowhere short of stopping.
Well, I think he was getting his marshmallows out there in the end to toast them because, man, he gets his wheel speed up early. I mean, just nothing better that he could do on this run. Again, these Mac guys really starting to figure it out. The Cummins and the Cats have reigned supreme for a really long time, but they better look out because these V8 Max Superliners are coming to town. They're carrying a big stick, and they're ready to rock and roll.
Because of the mile per hour here, watch his transfer box hit the front of this sled. That is an exhibition of horsepower right there. Definitely getting the job done. Let's send it back down to Ted.
J.R. Collins, you're already a legend in Ohio. You come out here to New York and you just set the place on fire, literally 353 plus. That's insane, man.
Well, we've been up here a long time, many times before, and I've sort of know the track, and that track is a tough track. I mean, they really, really do a good job here.
You didn't make it look that tough. I had some hay bales and some fans a little nervous you're going to keep going.
No. We're not going to keep going. We can stop it. No problem.
We got a big pull-off coming now. 5 already in this pull-off. Do you have a little more in it right now?
Oh, yeah. She's got plenty. She's a Mac.
We're going to go right back down to Ted for his dark horse pick as we watch Dana Lindsay get ready to go with the red hot and rolling.
All right, here's my dark horse pick for today in New York. Dana Lindsay in the red hot and rolling machine. Last year she finished second. This year she doesn't really have a great chance of finishing first. Nobody's going to catch Mike Larrabee, but look for her to put some fireworks on right now. Literally coming out of those stacks, she's got the sparklers going. She's a great vet. Her husband Tom is running in a different truck. He blew his up in the dyno. Basically, they've been doing all the R&D on this truck, and she is ready to roll. Dana Lindsay, watch out for her.
Well, she's always tough. I'll go with you on that one, Ted, but I don't know. Dale Francis, J.R. Collins, they might have something for Mr. Larrabee here today. And an excellent job by the lady. Good job for Dana. And when she dumped the clutch on that thing, she wasn't messing around. You could also see it planted those front drive tires in the dirt.
Well, that's exactly what she wants to do because she wants to take advantage of the front drive tires before all the weight hits on the sled and forces the weight down on those rear drive tires. You can see it right there. The back tire looks like it's almost up on the ground. And as the box tops off, it starts to sink down a little bit lower to give her more traction to help her push out her distance.
Whatever the case, it looks like it worked for her. Let's talk to her.
Dana, all that research and development with your family is paying off in this thing. 331.98. We've got 6 people in a pull-off right now. This is going to be absolutely nuts.
It definitely is going to be nuts, but I'm going to do my best. I'd love to come here. This is a great track, and I'm hoping to take it home.
Things are really hooking up on this track right now. What's so great about it? A little moisture earlier in the week, and now this thing's just so tacky and nice, isn't it?
I think so. It's a phenomenal track, really. It is an excellent hooker.
Now, what do we need to do before you get to the pull-off, or is she in good shape?
She's ready to roll. Once it's warm, it's ready to roll.
She's red hot and rolling.
There you go.
Thanks.
Thank
Good luck.
you.
Good stuff. We'll have some more pulling action here with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League when we return. We're having a great time here with the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League at the Jim Beam America's Fair. 20,000 people in attendance to come out here and watch this pull. And the first class out of the box has been the Hot Rod Semis, and they have not failed us. Look at this, 6 people in the pull-off. And the one that catches my eye is J.R. Collins with the Buckeye Bulldog. That big bad Mac came out here and pulled over 353 feet, and then he had to shut it down.
Well, I think that they're going to have a little bit better pulling surface out here tonight as it's later in the show. The sun has gone down, the moisture's come up from the track, and the track's really seated in. They came out early on in the night, put on a little bit more water right before the show, and then worked it all back in. Got this clay a little bit hard, and then as they drove on it tonight, it's really started to seat in, it's come up, it's ready to go, and this is an ideal surface out here for them tonight in the pull-off.
And the cab over Kenworth sets the mark to beat. Mark Riggle goes 263.45. I don't know if it'll be enough here to win, but it'll certainly set the mark.
There's a lot of big iron left back there. And if you remember from his first hook, he eked it out there at a 303. A good tough run, just maybe not getting as much wheel speed up as he needs to really push it out there. And I believe that they made some sled settings as well. So he's got some more weight back there, and they're really going to try to stop him short so they don't go barreling through those bales at the end of the track.
All right, we'll continue on here in the pull-off. Dale Francis inside of the killer came out here, really went for a wild ride in the first pull. We'll find out if he can keep it a little bit straighter this time, but no doubt this Mac is making some big-time steam. Oh, and he makes a mistake. He might have let the clutch out too quickly. It looks like he started to spin the tire, and it just got out of the power range.
Everything was off to a great start, and we even saw a little bit of fire out of the stack, which means he really had this thing whipped up and ready to go. Watch for the fire out of the stack, and then you'll see it shut down. There's the fire, see it right there, and then it just completely shuts off. We're hearing from our technical officials, though, that he does have a broke axle, and that's the reason why he shut down so early.
I spent 10 years as an over-the-road driver and driving a lot of different trucks, but always wanted one of those V8 Max. That's what we were always chasing, unless you had a 600 Cummins or a 3408, one of those big cats. You were always chasing one of the V8 Max. Next up, the man that everybody's been chasing all year long. He has a bunch of wins. Can he pull off another one here tonight at Hamburg? And Mike Larrabee again flexes a muscle in that Chevrolet 319 after they changed the sled. Man, this thing is just hooked up this year.
There's no backing out of it here in the pull-off tonight. You can see the dirt really flying as he comes off the line back there, and the torque coming up, pouring the horsepower to the rear end. The box is going to come up and top off, and you'll see it flex just a little bit harder as he really drives through it and does a great job keeping it straight in the center of the track and just powering it out. Watch the flame out of the stack, man. He's got that thing lean.
Going for a ride right there. And yeah, you can see that thing breathing a little bit of fire. It was definitely working as well. So good times for Mike Larrabee. He will definitely be the man to beat here when we come back to find out who's going to win here in the pull-off. We're back here in the middle of the pull-off at the America's Fair with a hot rod semi category. You're watching the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League, and everybody's chasing, once again, Mike Larrabee with that 1971 Chevy called the Shameless. Next up, Tom Lindsay is going to try to get past that 319 mark. Sounded pretty good there for a moment, but then it started to hop a bit, and it's going to cost him a lot of real estate.
You know, he really had trouble in his first run eking it out there to the pull-off. You know, I guess you wouldn't call it trouble because he made it into the pull-off. But about the 200-foot mark, that's when you're going to really see it start to bog down. The tires are digging in great at the back, and we see the box top off right there. And that's when he really starts to have trouble. You see it kind of bounce, and he's trying to run through those bounces to get out the distance to get some more traction, and he just can't make it happen.
So the Black Thunder will lay up a little bit short. We will continue on, and J.R. Collins in the first pull went 353 feet and then had to shut it off. So no telling how much power this guy has left in this Mac.
Look for the Buckeye Bulldog to jump out there and try to take a great big bite out of the Shameless. He's got his teeth out, and he's raring for action.
A pretty rocky ride. I really think he had something for him tonight, but it looked like he had to pedal it in the middle of the pull. Then it got out of shape. It cost him so much real estate, and he still nearly got out there with him.
He jumps off the line and starts to go a bit sideways, and you'll see the front tires angling the other way. He's trying to bring it back with the front tires and has to get out of it, get back in so he can put those tires back on the ground so he can make that change so he does not run out of bounds. Those white lines are a do not touch for these guys, and he wanted to make sure that he stayed in bounds in this pull-off. A great run. He would have had that extra distance. Remember, anytime you get out of it and get back in, you're really going to hurt yourself on the other end.
We've seen that sled literally pull these trucks down to where they won't even run anymore. And what was impressive about that one was it never pulled that back down. It just continued to spin the tires. Next up, Dana Lindsay, the red hot and rolling. Left front tire way up in the air, but she's not going to have enough torque and horsepower to get her to the win tonight.
She had a good-looking run coming off the line. I really loved hearing those RPMs as they just whizzed up off the line. You know that she really had it going strong. It looks really good, just maybe not a big enough gear to keep her going out here tonight.
Yeah, she went 1-to-1 and just yanked up that left front tire. Look at that thing just tweaking the chassis. Look at that front drive tire. I mean, it is squatting the sidewall on that tire. Definitely a tough effort there. It's not going to be enough, and nobody, again, can catch Mike Larrabee in the Shameless. An excellent job. Let's go down to Ted with our winner.
Mike Larrabee, 8 for 8, another championship. You're perfect on the season. This is pretty much the dream season of 07 for you right now.
Absolutely. Couldn't have imagined doing that well. We came over here for this circuit with the Lucas Oil circuit. Thought we'd run against Tom Lindsay and the gang, never run against these guys over here. Tom hasn't been out yet this year, but they sent some heavy hitters after us tonight. J.R. Collins was over here and Dick Bonner, and we just squeezed it out. But a win's a win.
I'll tell you what, JR really did set the crowd on fire with his run, and he had to make you a little bit nervous. And Dana had a good pull as well, so it was a great field. I mean, 6 in a pull-off that's quite a field.
Yeah, it was awesome. When I came out of the hole, I started letting the clutch out. The motor came down a little lower than it normally does, so I don't know if we got something wrong, but JR just about got us. We were like 315. I think he was 312. That's way too close for comfort there, but you take what you get. Hey, we need to thank our sponsors, Hales Harley-Davidson and Moser Industrial Services back home, and all the Lucas Oil PPL circuit sponsors. We really appreciate all they're doing for us.
Great, buddy. Thanks.
Great.
It's been a great time. Let's go to our General Tire hookup of the day.
Tell you what, he had this thing ready for action because he knew that J.R. Collins was going to come after him. You see that little bit of fire coming out of the stack. You know it's lean, you know it's running hot, and it's making as much as it possibly can.
And our Dixie Chopper fan favorite.
Love the Bulldog. Love that Max Superliner. Nothing better.
Hope you had a great time. For Ted Brunson and Leslie Mears, I'm Ken Stout. This has been a production of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.